Hi, and welcome to another video series on RISC-V microcontrollers. This time, I will be discussing about the GD32VF series. In the past, I have shown you all the capabilities of CH32 RISC-V series microcontrollers. This time, I thought that I should explore also another other microcontrollers having RISC-V architectures. So GD32 series has been in my possession for quite a long time, but I didn't have enough time to look after these microcontrollers. Now, after having played with the CH32 series, I thought I should give some time on the GD32 VF series also. So the GD32 series is from a Chinese manufacturer called GD32VF103CBT6. They have almost all the microcontrollers similar to STM32 series. They have the standard F series, which are ARM Cortex M0 M4 series microcontrollers, and they also have the VF series, which stands for the RISC-V architecture. So for this entire series, I have been using a special development board from Seed Studio. It's called Saipet Longan, and it looks like this. This is the board. There are options to add an external TFT IPS display or IPS display, or the most common being the ST7735 or the ST7789 in case of IPS display. And the bottom side of this board has options to add external SD card. So that's the basic of this board, and the pin labels are clearly labeled. You can have this image downloaded if you want and get more details, and it's very helpful when developing things with this board. And the colorful legend also helps in quickly identifying which pin has which peripheral and what it has else and what it doesn't. So that's the development board, and that's pretty much about it. And the main platform from which we will be downloading the software related to the GD series and the application nodes is this website, the gd32mcu.com/en/download. If you Google, you will find that the Giga device has two separate websites, one for the global market and the another is for the Chinese market. Let me show you. If you Google GD32, you'll see there is one website called gigadevice.com, and then there is another website called gd32mcu.com. So this one, basically the first one, the gigadevice.com/product/mcu, is basically the global website as per my experience, and there is nothing here except the catalogs and the basic info. You cannot have the software or other things. But if you want to have the software and technical details and a lot of other infos, other tools, then I suggest you go to gd32mcu.com, because that's the website we will be needing. So while this datasheet is being downloaded, let's talk about something else. So what are the development tools that we'll be needing to use GD32s effectively? After having searched a lot, I found out that the Sega Embedded Studio from Sega is the right platform to play with GD32 microcontrollers. At the time of filming this video, this Sega Embedded Studio is having a version of 8.24, and the last release date was sometime on 15th of April 2025. So this Embedded Studio software is completely free until and unless you use it for commercial use, but for educational and hobby purposes it's completely free. There is no limitation, there is literally nothing to bother you. In fact, there is also there are no ads or something like that. So it's free, it's friendly, and it's very easy to use. In the next video I will show how to use this to get our work done. So from the GD32MCU.com website, we can search down to our desired microcontroller, that is GD32VF1 series. Since the SiPad 11 board, this board uses a GD32VF103CBT6. As you have already noticed, this naming is similar to the naming we commonly see with STM32s. And in fact, many people get confused that whether this is a cheap knockoff of STM32s. In fact, during my time when these boards were sitting idle in my workshop, I thought that there could be a way that I can use STM32 codes and port them to GD32 microcontrollers. But in reality, that's not the case. In fact, when we will be looking at the codes, we will see that there are a hell lot of differences, unlike what we have previously seen with the CH32s, because CH32 cores are almost, to my experience, 90 to 95% compatible with the STM32 ones, but the GD32's VF series is completely a different story. In fact, the register naming and the function namings are completely different. There is literally no similarity at all. But yes, there are some functional similarities which are helpful if somebody is coming from a STM32 background. So this is one thing that I think users should know before using this GD32 VF series microcontrollers. And actually this difference is also for another reason, and that reason is the GD32 VF series is based on RISC-V architecture, whereas STM32s are not RISC-V architectures. They are basically ARM Cortex-M architecture. So there are differences in core. But in terms of peripheral, yes, there are some similarities, but not 100% similar. And this one caution that everyone should know before using this GD32 series microcontrollers. The same can be said for the other GD series. There are similarities, but not 100% same. My bad. For some reason, the datasheet is not loading. I don't know why. Let's try again and see if it loads this time. If it doesn't, no problem. I have already downloaded it, and we can see it here. Basically, we will need two documents: the reference manual and the data sheet. So this is the data sheet. Unlike STM32 datasheets, which are a bit fancier than the GD32 series datasheets, the GD32 datasheets are a bit different from the STM32s, and the reference manuals are even more different. I mean, look at this. Why will someone use this part of the sheet and spare it for just a border? Why not use it for text? Why waste it? Why waste it here for nothing? In fact, the reference manual, all of it is like this, and sometimes you will see some overlaps like this here. And in case of the datasheet, it's basically the same thing as we will expect. The datasheet just describes the electrical and mechanical and other basic infos, specifications, all this stuff. It doesn't go into detail of how this hardware, the GD32 microcontroller, has, how they operate, or how, or what else they can do. So that's the datasheet. It's nothing but only the specs and some light or summary descriptions, nothing else, and some diagrams. The main stuff is the user manual, as anyone would expect. The user manual details everything from the registers to the functioning of every hardware peripheral. And to me, this is the document that everyone should be looking at rather than the datasheet, unless the technical specs are really that important. In fact, the technical specs are literally common in case of the GD, not just the GD, but any 32F or VF10 something something series. They're technically same, and they are almost identical to the common STM32F1 series. So they are similar but not 100% same. So until and unless the technical specs are really of that importance that it should be pinpoint, I don't think the datasheet is much helpful. So that's the reference manual and the user reference manual or user manual and the datasheet, and nothing more about these documents. In fact, nowadays nobody manipulates registers often. Most of the tasks are done by built-in library functions. In case of STM32s, the HAL libraries are such libraries that people typically use. The same can be told for the GD32VF series also. In fact, the last time when I checked with the CH32 series, they also have similar library functions, and in fact such complex ARM microcontrollers are totally unusable for one single user unless there are some similar things like the HAL library or pre-built functions to aid in coding. But the reference manual and the datasheets will be needed if somebody wants to deeply understand how each peripheral is working. So moving on, so we will need to download this embedded studio for ARM and RISC-V. I have already installed this thing, and then the next thing that we will be needing the programmer software. And it's fortunate that I don't have to pay for external programmer or anything else, because GD32VF series comes with DFU option. See, there are options for I2C, SPI, UART, DFU, HID, LIN, etc., etc., etc. So no need to buy another programmer like the GD Link programmer. Of course, there are other options apart from the GD Link programmer, but I have opted for the all-in-one programmer, which comes with all the facilities of having the firmwares loaded to the GD32 without any other external hardware. So this is the software that we'll be needing when we want to flash our microcontrollers. That's all for this video. Hope to see you in the next video, and there we will discuss about the coding and how to get codes into our GD32. See you next time. Thank you.